Hello, my name is Eric Rogers, and for this week's research assignment, I chose KnockoutJS as my front-end framework to research. KnockoutJS is a very lightweight framework that is a little bit different from frameworks such as Angular or Backbone in that it is a very focused framework. It only deals with the user interface. It's very lightweight and very flexible because it is purely written in JavaScript. It can work alongside any other framework. One of the key things that I noticed about Knockout that I liked was that it's backwards compatible all the way back to Internet Explorer 6. It uses the model view model pattern, which would be basically the model would be your server data or a database. The view is your browser, what you would see on your screen, and the view model would be the client-side code or any of the object-oriented programming that would be changed or updated by the server. It is a free open source framework with an MIT license. Minified, it is only 46 kilobytes in size. And one of the nice things about Knockout is it has no dependencies. You don't have to load any other frameworks alongside it to get it to work. It's fully documented. The documentation is very thorough and easy to understand. On the left hand side of the website, you can see all of the documentation that you would need to learn how to use any of the features of Knockout. There's also tutorials on the website. Tutorials are very nice. They will help you get a long ways with learning Knockout. One of the biggest differences that I came across within my research between Knockout and Angular is a framework such as Angular is fairly easy to get started with. The learning curve is very low at the beginning of learning how to use Angular, but as you get into it a little farther, it seems like it becomes very steep, and you have to do a lot more research and studying with Angular as you get into the advanced concepts of using it. But with Knockout, it's a little bit harder to pick up, but it's really easy to get good with it once you get the basics down. Whereas with Angular, it's easy to learn it to start, but to really become proficient with it takes a lot of mastery. So for my demonstration, I took one of the live examples and modified it a little bit to make it more appropriate for what I want to show you. You can see this in the browser. This is just a demonstration of a sortable list using KnockoutJS. And one of the key features that Knockout claims to use is reactive programming, where, for example, with this input to add a new item to the list, we would simply just type in, as you would expect, the new boxer and then hit enter or click the add button. The nice thing with Knockout and reactive programming is it always detects when anything is modified. So right now, since there is nothing within this field, the add button is actually disabled. Clicking enter does nothing. Whenever I start to type, you can see that the add button is activated, and I can basically type anything and click add, and it's added to this list. That also works along with remove and sort. I can sort alphabetically anybody that is added to this list. I can select an item and click remove, and they are removed from the list. KnockoutJS uses data binding, such as for this form to add a boxer or to submit a new boxer. The code would be something like this: data-bind equals submit, and then it would be calling in an add boxer, which would be the function that's in the app for add boxer. One of the nice things about Knockout is that variables that are declared within your application are treated as functions in your HTML. So you can use function literals within your HTML. I don't really recommend doing this all the time because it clutters up your HTML a little bit, but it is an option, such as for the remove button. Whenever you click, it will call the function remove selected, which would be the selected boxer. This button will only be enabled if the selected boxer, as you can see, the variable is called as a function would be dot length is greater than 0. So if there is no boxer selected, the remove button is not enabled. Once you select a boxer, the button becomes enabled. It works the same way with sort, the way I have it written here. If the length is greater than 1, then if there is more than one boxer, the sort button becomes enabled. So why would I choose to use Knockout? I would use Knockout whenever I'm not necessarily needing a more full-featured web framework such as Angular, because Angular is kind of a do-all framework. Knockout is more focused, it's lighter. I would also use it in instances whenever a client would possibly already have a website in place that just needs some key features that Knockout can provide. Another instance I would use Knockout is if file size is of importance, because it is half of the size of almost any other framework out there. So overall, Knockout is a pretty good choice for a web framework. It is still growing. It's been around since 2010 and it is constantly being worked on. It might not become quite as popular as frameworks such as Angular because of the support behind them, but it is well worth checking out. Thank you for your time, and I hope you enjoyed this video.